For more on this, we're very happy to have Dick Pound joining me on the line. He is the former president of the World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, and former vice president of the International Olympic Committee. He's standing by in Montreal. Mr. Pound, thank you for your time. What do you make of what the IOC has done here?
Well, I think they did what had to be done. And, I mean, it's always distasteful to have to exclude, especially a country, from participation in something as special as the Olympics. But if you're absolutely bound to attack and to sort of ruin the games, especially ones that you hosted, there has to be a price. And I think had the IOC failed to do that, it would have lost its own credibility. So it probably took too long to get to where we are today, but we got there, and that's the important.
Could they have gone further? Should all Russian athletes have been banned from the games as a message? Or does this sort of middle road make sense, where athletes that can prove they're clean will still be allowed to compete under a neutral flag?
Well, frankly, I'm not sure that any athlete within the system, in Russia, is going to have an easy time showing that he or she was clean, notwithstanding the system, because basically, in Russia, you're either part of the system or you're not involved in high-level sport. But if they're in a position to show that they are clean, and that the clean athletes from the rest of the world can be reasonably satisfied that that's the case, I think it's fine to say, all right, we the IOC will let you in, but not as a representative of Russia.
Russia, obviously a very prominent part of the Winter Games. What sort of effect do you think it's going to have on the South Korean event?
Not that much. I mean, I think, we got along without the United States in Moscow. We got along without the Soviet Union in Los Angeles. It'll have some impact on some of the competitions. But nothing that would destroy their importance or their validity. I think right now the ball is in Russia's court. Are they going to throw a collective tantrum and refuse to participate in any way, or are they going to say, all right, we've been caught and we understand the price that has to be paid, but so far, there's been no acknowledgement by Russia that this was going on, and virulent attacks against almost everybody else in the world except themselves. So
True, very true. And of course, they refuse to come to terms with it and admit anything, as you are pointing out. We do know they have already said they want to appeal this decision by the IOC. Is there any chance of this being reversed, Mr. Pound?
I don't think so. I mean, these are decisions that are entirely within the power of the IOC to make. The IOC can withdraw the invitation to Russia. It can suspend the National Olympic Committee, which is the means by which you enter athletes in the game. So you can appeal, but I think you make yourself look even more ridiculous.
So we'll see if the Russians choose a sort of a blanket boycott, which they have threatened in the past if the IOC was to do this. I want to ask you, if I can as well, while we have you here, the message you think this sends by the IOC to all countries that are part of the Olympic movement.
Well, it's a good point. It's not just Russia who's getting a message here. It's the rest of the world. And the message is that if you're not prepared to accept and follow the rules that govern the Olympic Games, no matter who you are, you'll be excluded. And you think of a country our size saying, "Wow, if the IOC is prepared to do that with Russia, imagine what they would do were it us." So we better make sure that we are clean as a whistle when we go to the games.
Dick Pound, former president of the World Anti-Doping Agency, joining us on the line from Montreal with his reaction to news Russia has been suspended by the Olympic Committee. Mr. Pound, always good to have you with us. Thank you for this today.
Pleasure. Thanks.